What is everyone's hobbies? Is it coding? Because if it's not, it's okay. It's okay, you're a software engineer and your biggest hobby isn't coding. Even though it feels like we're lagging behind if we're not coding all the time, we're not working on side projects all the time. Because software engineering, it's so readily available. We can do anywhere. And because of that, there's so much learning resources, the possibility is endless, and because of that, it kind of feels like if we're not doing something, then we're choosing not to do it, and therefore sometimes it feels guilty. You know. So this article caught my eyes. It's okay if your biggest hobby isn't coding. So let's have a read at this. For the longest time, so it's an article written by Tombri Bawe on dev.to. For the longest time, I kind of felt like a fraud. I would browse LinkedIn, Threads, Instagram, X, dev.to, and all sorts and see posts like I built a full stack AI app in a weekend. I would listen to colleagues talk about their elaborate side projects. The unspoken message was clear. A real developer codes for fun. A real developer is always learning the next thing, always building. And I wasn't. I would say I share this sentiment with Tombri. I love software engineering and I feel very passionate about it. This channel is mostly about software engineering, but it's not my life. It's definitely not my life. And it is part of my life, but it's not my life. And I think that's okay. And I think do I learn less than people that work on it all the time? I would say most likely. But this is something that I choose to do. And I think there are many different ways that can help too. There are advantages of working on this all the time, and there are advantages of having a more balanced, more varied hobbies and time dedications. After 8 hours of solving problems, writing code, and staring at a screen, the last thing I wanted to do was more of the same. I would force myself sometimes, opening my laptop with a sense of dread, only to produce low quality code and feel even worse. I thought this meant I wasn't passionate enough. I thought I was falling behind. Then I hit a wall. I was stuck on a gnarly backend problem for days. The solution was nowhere to be found. Out of pure frustration, I walked away and decided to finally assemble an IKEA bookshelf that had been sitting in a box for a month. As I was sorting through the screws and following the famously inscrutable instructions, something clicked in my brain. Not the furniture, my brain. A completely different approach to the backend problem suddenly appeared, clear as day. I hadn't been thinking about it all day, but my subconscious had been working on it the whole time. That was my aha moment. I wonder if this solved the backend problem, because sometimes I go away and I think and I'm like, oh wait, hold on, that's really obvious, and I go back to the problem and I try to solve it that way. I'm like, oh, actually, it was obvious because I was missing this part that made the question harder. That made the question hard in the first place. Yeah, sometimes I have those moments. So I wonder if this really solved the problem. I feel like it did. The myth of the 24/7 coder. The idea that you must live and breathe code to be a great developer is one of the most pervasive and quietly damaging myths in our industry. It mixes love for the art with fixation on the instrument. You can be deeply passionate about building elegant systems, solving user problems, and creating robust software, the craft of engineering, without wanting to code every waking hour. In fact, stepping away is often what makes you better at your job. Why your brain is an off switch. 1. Prevents burnout. Your brain is a muscle. You wouldn't go to the gym and lift weights for 12 hours straight. Constant coding without a mental break leads to fatigue, cynicism, and worse code. Number 2, fuels creativity. The most effective Answers frequently emerge when you least expect them, during a shower, while walking, or when your hands are engaged in another task. A new environment allows your mind to create fresh connections, makes you a better problem solver. My IKEA moment wasn't a fluke. Hobbies like woodworking, cooking, or even playing a sport teaches you about process, patience, and physics in a way that directly translates to debugging and system design. You learn to think in different modalities. These are, of course, really good things. And back of my mind, I'm always thinking, is this just an excuses just to not work hard, not work all the time? Because it is true that I think learning for me, it's like spring for me. By that, what I mean is you learn something, you work hard on something, you learn, you read about it, you study, and say you study for 12 hours, but the learning or your ability on the subject isn't going to be linear. It's going to increase, but I think it hits the plateau at some point. And then you don't do anything. Say you go to sleep, and then I don't know why, but for some reason, when you go away for a bit, I think when you study, it's like building tension to a spring. And when you go away, the tension gets released and your ability springs up, so that next time you go back to that thing, you realize that, man, I think I've gotten better. One of the times that I realized that was I sometimes during winter I go ice skating. It's something that I do like once every 3 years or something. And every time I go ice skating, the first 10 minutes is like a baby trying to walk. I can't even stand straight. And then after another 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I remember how to do this and blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of hit a plateau. It's like, okay, like this is what I remember feeling like, okay, it's good, but I know that it's not good enough. And then what happens is they have to flatten the ice, so everyone has to get out. So it's like a 15-minute break. After that 15 minutes, I go back and I find myself so much better than before that break. And I don't know why that happens, but that's like that with guitar, that's like that with football, that's like that with tennis. With so many things. So yeah, I feel like learning and studying is like building tension to the spring, but you need to release it to really see that jump up. Yeah, and let me know if you have that experience, because I know back then it wasn't just me who had that experience. So redefining passion. Passion isn't determined by the total hours you put in. It pertains to the caliber of your focus while you're engaged in work. It's about the satisfaction you feel when creating a tidy, understandable function. It's the desire to comprehend the reason behind the bug occurring, rather than merely acknowledging its existence. It's about the delight of working well together with your team to deliver something outstanding. That type of enthusiasm flourishes when you're well rested, balanced, and have a life that energizes you, not when you're depleted from a late night coding spree. I also feel this as well. When I have a good night's sleep, when I sleep well, when I eat well, when I exercise well, I'm in good relationship with people around me, I feel like I'm more focused, more creative. Just makes me a better coder as well. Yeah, I think my theory, a lot of theories here. My theory is that when you're stressed and when you have other things on mind, your brain is like 30% spent on that thing. And when you're coding, you're only using 70%, whereas you're well rested, you're thinking straight, your 90% of your brain goes to the task you're on. If you've ever felt bad for not having an impressive GitHub graph or for choosing to watch a film instead of programming tutorial, I want to assure you, it's perfectly fine. Your value as a developer isn't measured by your side projects. It's measured by the focus, creativity, and sanity you bring to your real job, actual job. Protecting your personal time isn't a lack of ambition. It's a long-term strategy for a sustainable and enjoyable character. Let's break the stigma. What's one thing you love to do that has absolutely nothing to do with a computer? I'll start. I've gotten really into playing volleyball. The sheer physicality, the instant team communication, and focus on a single moving object are the perfect antidote to a day of abstract problems and a static screen. Ah, that's the end of it. A bit abrupt the ending, but yeah. And I think, but there's always two sides to the story, right? And I think the other side is that hard work is needed to really stand out, to get better. And hard work is definitely needed. And I think the wisdom is in balancing, walking on that fine line between overworked and underworked, and knowing when to rest and when to work hard. And that's really difficult. Yeah. And that not only depends on the situations, and it depends on people, and yeah, just so many other things. But yeah, this is a really interesting article. Really insightful. I hope you enjoyed as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Bye.